All right, welcome to our latest Swampcast. We're here at the Swamp, and Florida getting a win, 14-7. You almost nailed it, Robbie.
Yeah, I picked 14-10, and my wife goes, "No way, are you kidding? It's gonna be a lot worse than that." And I said, "No, this offense against this defense."
Yeah, well, I didn't know if it'd be worse, but I thought it would be more points. But Florida's offense again struggled. I mean, the first half they were awful, to be honest with you. But the defense kept them in the game again. Amazingly, Florida won this game despite poor special teams play.
Oh, I know. I mean, the kicking game wasn't there. Sturgis has a bad ankle, and Christie had a couple of shanks.
Yeah.
And they were off their game in that regard, but they somehow won again ugly and got it done.
And I know he got a couple of kicks inside the 5, Robbie, but he also had 2 line drive kicks against a good return
Who can
guy.
can break a game open with a return.
So you got to give Florida's guys credit for getting down there. I mean, I think he had 1 of 10 and 1 of 12.
Yeah.
But in the end, Florida made just enough plays, and defensively. In the second half, after the first 2 series, Missouri's in Florida territory the whole time.
Yeah, the whole time.
And then you would go, God, they can't stop them, and then they make one play.
Yeah.
Either it was a pick or a sack, and this is
it's what
way it's been all year.
But like Driscoll said, there was no panic on the sideline. They knew the defense would come up with a stop, and they did. They saved them again. They bailed them out in the 4th quarter.
You know, I do the Gator chomps. I have best and worst. My best fake is going to be, I thought this was going to be a miserable crowd, an embarrassment. It actually filled out pretty good.
Yeah, we're kind of embarrassed by the tweets we did ahead of time. Like, oh, we're the Gator fans. They're no good.
I know,
blah, blah.
front runners.
So they
on
did
the
show up, and they were very energized. They stuck with
especially at the end, yeah. But you know, the bottom line is Florida's 7-1 in the SEC. If before the season, if I had told you that, you would have said that's not good enough. You need to get a life, because that is an amazing round. I don't care how they got there. 7-1. They are co-champs at the very worst.
8-1, top 10 in the country. They're going to be 10-1 going to FSU. If they play and win that game, you're looking at 11-1.
It's been a big step forward for Florida. And again, like Will said, they're not as explosive as they want to be, and they're not explosive if you want them to be. But they find ways to win games. You got to give them a lot of credit.
And typical for the offense, Pat, they hit a big play down the field for a touchdown, called back by penalty.
And it was a good call.
2 out of the line, it was, but
there were some bad calls.
If they could hit a play like that, I think it would really help confidence, and they can move forward a little. But they're stuck right now.
I need to go to officiating school.
I do too.
Because there's some plays that I just didn't understand, like 12 men in the huddle, and then a guy runs out, and then there's no penalty, which Florida got nailed for twice last week. I don't get some of these things, but hey, Florida's 8-1, 7-1 in the SEC, and it's really been I think you have to call this a great year no matter what happens the rest of the way. We're going to go get our stuff done, probably watch the end of Georgia Ole Miss, see what happens there, and then we'll be back with you next week to preview Florida's game against Louisiana Lafayette.
Yeah,
right?
homecoming. Should be a big crowd.
Until then, Pat Dooley and Robbie Andrew, the Gainesville Sun, saying so long from the Swamp.